Hey everyone, TJ here, and I just wanted to share with y'all what woke me up politically. And I would just like to ask everyone, has anything ever happened to you that woke you up politically, or are you even politically awake? Was there an event that so got your attention it made you start paying attention to politics? That happened to me. And I'll go back to 1989. I ETS'd out of the Army. That's a fancy way of saying honorably discharged. And at the time I was indifferent, politically apathetic, a little naive when it came to politics. I kind of always sensed I was conservative, but I didn't really understand why I thought what I thought. I was kind of a political wanderer. But in 1991, something happened. And I was reminded of this just a couple weeks ago when Joe Biden threw his hat into the circle to run for president. It reminded me of 1991 when I woke up politically. What happened in 1991? The nomination of Clarence Thomas to the Supreme Court. Who was the Senate Judiciary Chairman at the time? Joe Biden. Joe Biden was the Senate Judiciary Chairman. Democrats controlled the Senate. Joe Biden was the chairman. And I'd just like to thank Joe. Hey, thanks for reminding me what woke me up politically. And I'm just going to refresh people here what happened back then. Bush 41 nominates Judge Clarence Thomas to the Supreme Court. Bitter party politics along party lines develop. And I remember thinking, he's a black guy. What more do you want? You know what? Fair and equal. Here's your black guy. Then it dawns on me, oh, he's not the black guy they want. He's not the right kind of black guy. But there's a problem. There's still enough Democrats willing to vote with the Republicans to confirm a black conservative judge to the Supreme Court. And the hardline Democrats just can't let that pass. What do? They bring in Anita Hill. And what commences is a smear job on Judge Clarence Thomas. She testifies how she was sexually harassed, to include a scenario involving a pubic hair on a Coke can. I remember thinking, holy cow. And this was my awakening. I remember thinking, holy cow, if they're going to do this to someone like him, what would they, the Democrats, do to someone like little old me? I mean, I'm nobody. And yet they're going to smear and tarnish this guy, say what they said about him in front of an entire nation? They're certainly not going to care about trampling over me. And that's what woke me up politically. I remember the weekend watching TV because I was in shock of what I was seeing and hearing. And over the weekend, if you recall, over the weekend they televised almost, it wasn't an actual court hearing, but they brought in Anita Hill, they brought in witnesses, and the whole circus went over that entire weekend. And I was kind of glued to the TV as all this was playing out. Then Clarence Thomas comes and speaks to the Senate. And I remember how my heart broke as he said to them, this is a circus, a national disgrace. He continues with, it is a high-tech lynching for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves, to do for themselves, to have different ideas. And it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, this is what will happen to you. You will be lynched, destroyed, caricatured by a committee of the U.S. Senate rather than hung from a tree. I would really encourage everyone, that's a 3-minute and 48-second clip on YouTube. I would really encourage everyone to watch that and listen to Clarence Thomas say these words in his own words. I believe that when Clarence Thomas said that, it rocked the Senate so back, because when you think about it, up until this time, No one really snapped back at the Senate like Clarence Thomas just did. And I think it rocked back the Senate to the point where enough Democrats still voted with the Republicans and Clarence Thomas was confirmed. The vote was 41 Republicans and 11 Democrats voted to confirm. 2 gutless Republicans, along with 46 Democrats, voted no. He is currently the longest serving member on the Supreme Court. Joe Biden, the guy who's running for president right now, he confesses in private to then Republican Senator Arlen Specter, he didn't find Anita Hill credible. And why? Because the timeline of events she gave didn't match the time when she worked for Clarence Thomas. And so there was the discrepancy to the effect that they made her come in a second time and she changed her story to get things right. And too late. She got caught. But the problem is, the Democrats were going to vote against him anyways. I mean, Arlen Specter did. I mean, not Arlen Specter, but Joe Biden did. He confesses to Arlen Specter that he thought she was lying. So, and then we hit like last year, just last year, the way they treated Brett Kavanaugh. Okay, same thing. And I remember that. I think it was on a Thursday. I rushed home from work where Brett Kavanaugh, he too responded to the Senate. And I remember having that same feeling in my heart watching Brett Kavanaugh like I did for Justice Clarence Thomas. You know, they say everything happens for a reason. I can only hope that maybe the Brett Kavanaugh scenario woke someone up like the Clarence Thomas scenario did for me. Look at the way they're going after Trump now, President Trump, and his family. When will people wake up and see that the Democrats are playing for keeps? I'm going to mention some of our own previous videos here at the Michigan Conservative Roundtable. We did a video on uncivil America. Destroying a man's character in front of an entire nation is pretty uncivil, if you ask me. Corrupt mainstream media. When the media colludes with the Democrats to destroy a man's character in front of the nation. Another civil war. You know, when stuff like this happens, it just plays right to that scenario of another civil war. Mac did a solo on Why I Care. Well, folks, we care when a man's character is destroyed the way they tried with Clarence Thomas and Brett Kavanaugh. We care. Our mission. My mission in this video is to share with you how what they tried to do with Clarence Thomas is what woke me up politically. Why we voted for Trump. Is it not obvious why we voted for Trump? So in closing, I'd like to thank Joe Biden as he runs for president for reminding me that he played a part in waking me up politically. And hey, Joe, it wasn't even a gun issue. Imagine that. Thanks for watching. As we say here at the Michigan Conservative Roundtable, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.